Hi there, I'm Melissa Kocius, chair of Starbase Indy, and you're listening to Gaming with Scott.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Gaming with Scott. I'm here with Cindy.
Hello.
I'm here with JC, who went
Hello.
over there. Bye.
I am totally JC.
I am totally JC.
I'm filling in for JC.
I'm here with John Kennedy.
Hello.
And I'm here with Scott Somerville.
I'm not really here. I'm just a figment of his imagination.
Nice. Who was going to ask us what books will, what books do, what books are, what books things. I can't remember the third word. What's your question?
We just went through a whole discussion on what non-major franchise shows you really enjoy. Because we're sort of in a silver age of science fiction. Things are going well. There's a lot of things out there, and some of the best of them, which we were just discussing, 3 out of the 4 of them that were brought up were all based on books. So, what book series would you like to see made into a show or movie?
Sorry. I would have to say Alex Verus, Benedict Jocka's book, but I just talked about that before.
So what else? You get a pass.
I don't know. Books that I've read that I want to see made into a series.
I've got one.
You like the Carrera ones, didn't you?
Go ahead. I like which one? Oh, the other. Oh, I'll get to those. Yes. Go ahead.
I've got one, and it actually, I believe, is being made into a series. It's called Wild Cards.
You stole mine.
Yep.
And he's written them all.
Well, Melinda M. Snodgrass is the one that's helping him with that. And she's very,
George
very
R. R.
active.
Martin's Wild Card series.
Oh,
Yes.
really?
It's pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, is it good? All right. Very, very good. All right. John, you got one, or you want me to jump into mine?
Mine's a graphic novel series, so I don't know if that counts.
Yeah,
but
that counts.
It counts.
Astro City by Kurt Busiek.
City.
It's a superhero series, but it focuses less on telling stories of like Superman fighting a giant robot and more on what Superman's day is like. And in their universe, the Samaritan, who's their Superman analog, is horribly, horribly stuck to OCD, and he follows a very, very strict schedule, and he counts out seconds in his head as he flies everywhere. And he's like, I have 5 seconds to fly over here and yell at this criminal and warn him never to commit a crime. Then I must fly 7 seconds over to Hawaii and stop this volcano from exploding. That will take me 2.8 minutes. At precisely 2.9 minutes, I have to be flying back to the Dakotas to stop that asteroid or to wipe out the city. And it shows the personal hell that Superman would have. Because like, if you had the power of God, you would have to maintain a strict schedule. Otherwise, if you fail, people die.
Yeah.
If
That would be absolutely terrible.
And
Hi there.
others,
We just had an odd pause where JC just appeared out of nowhere.
Sorry, I wasn't trying to interrupt anything.
oh no, it's
No,
fine.
it's all good. Go ahead.
But also like
So do you think it would be OCD, or would it just be like, is there any Sunday when Superman just like, he rolls out of bed and he's like, I have my robe on, I'm going to watch some TV?
that character actually deals with that, where he's like, no one understands what it's like to be the Samaritan, because the moment he doesn't save someone or he doesn't save the planet, then it's, why didn't you do more? He could save 100,000 lives that day, but it'll be the 5 lives he fails to save. And there are other heroes in that universe where it shows like what their day life is like. Mm-hmm. Like they're
It's the Schindler's List question. It's the scene at the end.
Mm-hmm.
This pin is 5 more lives. And he's not sitting there celebrating what he did that he didn't have to do and save all those people. He's mourning the 5 people he could have saved if he had sold the damn pin.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
See, and I've not seen that movie.
Good movie.
You haven't seen
my.
Schindler's List?
I have not.
It's hard. It's hard to
tough.
watch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Is it?
And
Yeah.
it's one you really can't sit through a second time, but it is phenomenal.
and I know we're not supposed to bring up politics. I'm not trying to bring up politics. I'm actually
No,
trying
it's
to bring
okay.
up history, not politics. So
Yeah.
there's all this
Hamilton.
talk about Nazi,
shot.
fascist, fascist.
I'm sorry, I believe they like to be called alt-right.
And well, screw that.
Don't give them any.
Look, my point is people have every right to be upset, and they should be upset, and they should stand against injustice, and they should fight the good fight. And I'm totally on your side, but I'm saying we got a minute before we get to what's the name of it, John? The night when the night of broken glass.
Kristallnacht.
Thank you. We've got a minute. We're not there yet. Like,
I hear you.
I know what I'm saying is unpopular, but I'm going. We can chill. Don't chill, fight, but
We can take a breath.
Yeah, because I'm
And
saying
just-
Schindler's List made me think of it like that was horrible,
Uh-huh.
and we're just not there yet. I'm not saying we're not going to head that direction, but you'll know.
Yeah. Well, but that's I think that's the counter argument.
Well, I'd like to think
You'll
we
know by the time you know. You should have known sooner because it'll be too late.
Yeah.
It'll be that whole they're rounding people up. Oh, then that means last week when they were talking about
Well, I'm not saying don't freak out. I'm not saying don't stand against things. I'm just
No, I see what you're going for. You're trying to be like, we can afford to stop, take a breath, collect our shit, and then move on. Like, think about what we're going to do and then move on.
right, exactly.
Rather than just,
no, we're fine.
no. Rather than just like, no, we have to act now. We must do everything. We must flail about in a fury of movement. And
We're doing a Muppet flail right now. Is kind of what we're doing.
yeah, we need to be like less Beaker, more Bunsen.
So okay. Do they go through all the superheroes' lives?
Yeah, because Astro City, it's more of an anthology series where they like
Okay.
to tell different chapters or different stories.
Are they all OCD?
No, they have other arcs which are longer. Like one of them involves Steeljack, who actually the character is based off of, blanked on the actor's name, but he told a pulp
Jackman.
story. No.
No.
He told a pulp story about a villain, a super villain who gets out of prison. And he decides to finally serve his stint of 20 years. He gets out. He's an old man. And now he's an ex-con. But he's not just an ex-con. He's a super ex-con. So he's trying to find a job. And meanwhile, he's finding out that a lot of his old friends are being murdered. And so it's him trying to work against the system to try to help save his friends. While at the same time, he is silver skinned. He is made of steel.
Okay.
He is not a guy who could turn his power off.
Oh, okay.
So he then he talks about how he could only get job washing dishes, which his hands are made of metal. When they get soapy, they fall. So he couldn't do that.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Did you read Straczynski's Wild Card books?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How does that compare?
Very similar. Straczynski likes to go more for like the pop cultural references, where his books were what if boom 80s, the what are they called? Aces and the Jokers, where pretty much in the 80s people get powers, boom, suddenly the world has to adapt. In that universe, aces are people with powers that can be controlled.
No. That's I'm sorry. Straczynski's Rising Stars series.
Oh, I've actually never read that one.
Okay. Worth checking out.
Okay.
Okay. So what book series do you want to see made into book do you want to see made into a series?
I took his.
Since she took yours.
She took that one. I think arguably, I'm going to throw out a couple. I think we can look forward to Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. That's a very popular French series.
I don't think they'll do it justice.
They may not. Okay. Arguably, they have only done justice to 2 out of the 3 Discworld shows that they put out.
Mm-hmm.
Which 2?
They did Hogfather and The Color of Magic. Going Postal.
Did they make that into a movie?
Yeah. It didn't quite work.
That's my favorite. That's one of my top 3 favorite books of all time.
They didn't do it justice.
Then I don't want to see it. I don't want to throw things at my television.
That's how
Well,
that's how I felt with the Green Lantern movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Which, as was brought up earlier, I've got to take a little side, John. Hold that thought. Doctor Strange and the reboot with Green Lantern, very similar in the plot maneuverings.
Yeah. With Sinestro and Mordo and
Right? And you're going, oh. And then there's the power, and they got it, and it's, oh, hey, wow.
you got to break the rules to save the day, but we don't break the rules.
And that very end of, I'm going to go fight the Parallax at the end. It's me versus the Parallax, and we may have to stay here a while, but we're going to get this done. I will keep you away from Earth.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, some parallels there. And hey, please note, I didn't go scene by scene for the entire movie. So anyhow, yeah, we had that. So there are some parallels.
I was not the one that
And you were not the
Busted
one.
your
I was
chops on that.
commiserating. I was
Oh,
commiserating
oh,
you.
with
We
the-
were
okay.
feeling the love
Okay,
together.
okay.
Yes. No, that was not a knock.
Can you feel the love tonight?
I didn't start it.
This is not happening.
It stopped happening, so that's good. Let's go with that.
Let's make that a thing. All right, that was the first one. What was the second one?
I could throw out the Jim Butcher books, the Dresden series, but, hey, it's been done briefly, but not well. Not as
Right.
well as it deserves.
I like
Right.
the
So
skull.
I'm going to say 3.
okay.
The Honorverse series,
Honor Harrington. That would make
the
That would be some
1630s
really good.
series by Eric Flint,
doable, but I really don't think they would do it justice, and I really think it kind of fishtailed after a couple of books. They'd have to shore up the plot, which means they would inject and go off book, off script, as you said, and that's where I think things start to, Go
And
ahead.
my personal favorite that I'd really like to see, it's a 10-volume anthology. It's on book 9 right now. David Weber's Off Armageddon Reef series.
Oh, nice. Okay. See, I want to see him do the Postlian War. I want to see him do the
That
Albinata
would be
series.
phenomenal.
I think that would be absolutely fantastic.
That would. And it's one of those things like Lord of the Rings. Until a few years ago, the CGI wasn't up to it. But now,
Yeah.
it would be
Yeah.
phenomenal.
And unless you take a book like There and Back Again, A Hobbit's Holiday, and you decide to carve it into 3 movies and add a bunch of extra plot because apparently Tolkien was a hack that didn't know how to write and you think you can do it better, so you're going to put orcs in the middle of it and they're going to have this thing and it's a trailing saga through 3 movies and you're going, what the hell are these characters doing? They weren't even in the book. And I'm not even really sure that, why is there this side plot you're ruining everything. Stop it. I hate you now, Peter Jackson. I would ram a steel rod through your... Oh, okay.
Oh, come
I'm sorry.
on. He
Was
pulled
that...
it off.
He did. He pulled it off.
He pulled it off.
I like Peter Jackson.
He pulled it off?
He did.
I like Peter Jackson.
He pulled it off.
No,
I think he pulled it off.
the first one, yeah. The second one, I'm still with you, but we're getting me nervous. The third is not the same.
It was a disaster.
Yeah, we're not even
Are we talking about the Hobbit movies or the trilogy?
Yeah.
trilogy. Yes, but the
They were both.
trilogy.
Oh, I love the trilogy.
I didn't see the last one.
Well,
I got
hang
up on
hang
the second one and
Scott,
walked out.
You know, some changes had to happen, right? Because there were no female protagonist heroes at all in the books. Like,
I'm
Different
not
time.
saying there
right,
shouldn't
right.
have been
And for
some.
a modern
time.
audience, you had to adapt some of
No,
that.
you didn't.
Yes, you.
Well, then we can do. Then we're back to Starship Troopers, where you can say the movie shared only the title with the book.
Yeah.
And if you want to go there, that's fine. We'll just change everything. But why don't we call it something other than
See, I
Robert A.
liked-
Heinlein's Starship Troopers?
Yeah.
I don't know. I felt that the changes they made for the trilogy were actually pretty good. I felt that because they knew they had to make 3 movies off of 3 books. They cut out stuff that really, like Tom Bombadil, which didn't really serve the plot at all, other than, this is Tom Bombadil. He's a real-world perspective. It's like, we get the real-world perspective.
Yes, but there's an argument that Tom Bombadil should be considered as the main character. Like, he's the reason the whole... Tom Bombadil's not there in the story, and Frodo succumbs, and the ring is his, and we're all done.
Well, that was the problem. It wasn't that they made adaptations, but by the third movie, by the second half of the third movie, they have changed the plot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, not. And then by the time we get to the ending, and the ending, man, he's like, I really don't know how to put the genie back in the bottle here.
It went from, we, a band of chosen few, will throw this ring into the hot lava fix. By the time we got to the end of the third one, it is, we, the chosen band, will install the ceiling fan to keep the air from the hot lava down to a minimum, because it really cycles. It gets really hot at the top, but there's cool air in the floor.
I still
and it
think
really,
he
if we
pulled it
mix
off.
all that up, it would
One
be
problem,
fine.
though, Smog went down like a paralyzed falcon.
No, you just said it. He did a great job with it. He
I said
really
he
pulled it
off.
off. That's bullshit. The whole Smog that you're No, he didn't.
There's so
pull
much
it
nerd
off.
rage at this table right
Oh
now.
my god! Oh, I
Yell,
just
John. I can tell.
No, I'm really
I'm
just more of
hateful.
or sort of like the Hobbit series. I really only like the second one. I didn't like the first and third.
yeah, and that okay. The Hobbit. I read The Hobbit every summer for a 10-year stretch. It's an amazing book. Yes, there are not women in it.
Well,
period.
no,
I get that.
No, I was just throwing out an adaptation that I figure you'd agree with.
Oh, you mean the minute that Aradel shows up and diverts the
Toriel.
river to
the classic moment of "I am no man."
yes,
I'm
yeah.
like, not in the books, but awesome.
yeah, agreed. However, it was in a different book. Thanks for stealing that piece. Because apparently, let's rewrite, because Tolkien was apparently a hack that just didn't know. Okay, you
All right,
want to know
let's
what
finish
really
up the
pissed me
question.
off? You
All
want to know what really pissed me off? Okay,
All right.
is
No,
one of the
he's-
greatest.
he's gone
scenes-
plaid. He's gone plaid.
One of the greatest scenes in all of friggin' literature was when the ring wraiths rode out of Mordor. It was one of the most frightening, visceral. Oh dear Lord! And this dude put some guys in some friggin' rags on some horses and went "Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do," and we were done. And it was like, what the? He did not pull it off. He's a hack who thinks that he can write better than Tolkien, and that's fine
Happy
as long
place.
as you're willing to just accept.
Happy
It's not even the same book.
place.
It's not the same title.
Scott.
It's not a thing.
Scott.
Calm down.
This is why I'm doing my 30 days of positive on Facebook, baby.
JC,
Scott.
what book series would you like to see made into a TV show or movie?
Can I
don't-
change my answer to Lord of the Rings? I'd love to see that made into a movie that was actually like adherent to the book. Go ahead.
You're being that guy, man. You're being that guy.
Oh, am I being that guy? I'm sorry. All right, am I that guy?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I lost a little bit.
Is this a
JC,
raincoat? Well, yes, it is.
Go ahead, JC. I'm going to take
We're
a breath.
going to have Negan here give you a little sedation.
I don't know what everybody else said, but the most of what I would do has already been mentioned from what I heard. But the Rift War saga by Feast, I'd like to see that made into a series.
Rift War Saga? Tell me more.
Magician Apprentice, Magician Master.
Actually, I got to get
I
out.
always
of here.
forget the name of the third one.
I got to move on.
You got to get out of here?
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I got to go.
No,
so-
you're heading out? All
Well,
right.
I got a panel I got to hit.
Oh.
Whoa. Peace out. What
Yeah.
panel are you going to?
It's a 3:00 Star Trek one. We were going to meet up with some friends of mine and
Nice.
watch it. So
All right, hit it. Hit
Sorry,
it,
guys.
big guy.
I'll
we
be
love
back
you.
later.
We love you. Bye-bye.
All right, see you guys later.
Yay. And John vanishes into the nether.
And then,
Yay.
so the Rift War saga would be neat. And then the other one that for life of me, I don't understand why it hasn't been, is basically the whole chain of books revolving around Dritz Duerden.
Oh, yeah.
Why has no one...
Around what?
Dritz
Dritz.
Duerden. Dritz. Dark Elf.
yeah, Dritz. But yeah,
The Tro.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
could do the whole thing.
They could.
There's
and
like
they have
12
the CGI
books.
to do it now. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
That would be a moneymaker.
I don't know this one.
The
You don't
story?
know Dritz?
You don't know
No.
Dragonlance? You don't know
Oh,
Dragonlance.
Dragonlance.
The
Okay.
Dritz?
Drow. Yeah.
the Drow?
All right.
The Drizzt clone.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Two Skimiters? Slice and
Is it-
dice? Cuisinart? Human Cuisinart?
Is it Scimitar?
He's not
Or
human.
Scimitar? Scimitar?
Scimitar?
Scimitar.
Same
He's
thing?
he's Tro, not human.
Well,
Yeah.
I
You
mean,
said humans.
humanoid.
Yeah. no.
He's a Drow.
Nitpicky nerds?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was pissed
Damn
she
right.
lobbed the spider. They didn't do that right either. But we're on Drow right now. We're on Lilith, the Spider Queen. Right? Loth.
Loth.
Loth. Lilith. I said Lilith, didn't I? That was
Yes,
bad,
you did.
Scott. Loth.
Well, it is a parallel. I think it was subconscious on that.
I thought it was too.
Yeah.
I really thought that's where they were
Lilith
going
and
with that.
Loth, I thought that
yeah,
was very
yeah.
close.
I thought that was pretty good.
See, Lilith is like the bad Eve.
Yeah, yeah, but Lilith, Loth, you don't see that as the queen
saw
of the
that.
spiders. You see that there's a parallel there, right?
Yeah.
You wouldn't say she's
Just
the
not a
good
very
spider
good
queen,
one.
right?
My
Oh.
stepbrother never got it because he was
Zing.
always like, that doesn't make sense. Why would a whole group of people follow a crazy god? I'm like, have you met my ex-girlfriend?
Yeah, like seriously, like
I damn near married her.
yeah, smoking hot, totally crazy. Yeah, let's buckle in. We'll see where that goes. It's not a bad thing. It's
Yeah,
happened before.
easy.
It'll happen again.
Easy.
Yeah, it's easy to do.
Sure, she'll let you into her bed, but then she'll own your soul.
And eat your head.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a praying mantis kind of thing. Like, oh, we get to
Absolutely.
mate. Oh, hold on. Oh, that's terrible.
Okay. You done? You
Yeah.
done yet? Okay,
Yeah.
you're done?
All right, we're good. Buffet time. What do you? Ooh, we get breakfast in bed. I do.
Wow.
Exactly.
That's terrible. Yay! All right, so that was the book series. All right. Do we want to do a radio play? I
Radio
kind of
play
want
would
to.
be nice.
I kind of
What's a
want to do a
radio
radio play. Isn't that what you were leaning towards with more sound effects and more things like that and stuff like that?
Oh, sure.
Like a
yeah.
gap.
That would be
Gaffer.
doable.
Yeah, it's very doable.
Like that. We'd need a good story though.
But the problem is it's very time intensive in the editing process.
Yeah, very much so. So unless
But
we had
it's
other
doable.
people that would
Yeah, it is
step up
doable.
and do some editing, hint, hint.
Oh, I'd like to run that.
Yeah,
I'd like
but-
to write that.
Yeah. All right. Because that was going to be my next question. Are we going to be doing other people's material, or do we want to write our own?
Our own, definitely.
We want to write our own. All
I
right.
think,
Yeah.
and just my perspective, we took Stargate in a very different direction because we took a great founding story,
Yes.
and my perspective is they took it in a direction that was not realistic. And I think there's other instances of that are out there.
True.
Well, you know what I think would be neat?
I mean, what happens the day after is a question that's not been asked enough in a lot of stories.
Yeah.
So,
I
what
almost
about
said
a story? And this would be challenging. It'd be a challenging tell. But what about a story that is the story of a Stargate team that you receive entirely through the audio logs that they kept on their mission logs that were found?
Kind of like the captain's log and the first mate's
The
log.
challenge
and
is that you are never Razor's Edge in the moment POV because it's always me talking about what has occurred, right? It's the primary challenge, but it could be done.
Yeah, I've written enough military reports to know what goes into those. It's real dry.
Well,
And
you bend
you don't
for that.
tell everything.
You bend for that. You bend for
Yeah.
that. I mean,
Well, but that's my favorite
But
episode
no,
of Deep
that-
Space Nine. When you get the captain, when you get Cisco, who's like,
Oh, yeah.
I had to bring the Romulans into the war.
Yeah, but you can bet he wasn't reporting that one.
Well,
Right.
That was a personal log.
no. But that's the point. At the end, he's like, and that's what I had to do. Computer, delete entry,
Yeah.
Right.
and that's how. But
Brilliant episode.
Beautiful.
But I would want to do that whole okay. So we would provide the military log where it would be like, here's what was reported, and then it would be personal
And
log.
here's what really happened.
So we did this, and we were doing this.
oh,
and we were doing
neat!
that.
Open every
That's a
episode
good
with
one.
the military report, and then the personal logs. Sometimes they're like stuff's left out, but they're pretty congruent. Sometimes it's like that dude freaking lied.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, he
Much
left out.
like you did with General Hammond.
I did. I lied out of my face. I was like, face hole lying. Here it comes. Let me give you the debriefs. This happened, and this happened, and this happened, and we kind of promised to save their world. But anyhow, this happened, and we're going to gloss over that, and we're going to go. Got to go by. It was
All right.
horribly bad.
Next
but
question.
That's a great.
Yeah.
I like the idea.
I like that.
We can do the printed military report, and then the read military report, and that's 3 minutes or less.
But-
and the next are personal logs.
Well, that's a good format. I mean, there's always the narrative, like Blade Runner had that talk-over narrative with Harrison Ford,
Right.
which was brilliant science fiction film noir.
Oh yes.
But would you want to go with something that's a known like that, or
Known
get
like
down,
what? What do you mean by known?
Stargate, Star Trek, they're all known. But there are things out there that are pure gold, like the Carrera series.
Yeah, the Grim Noir.
Yeah,
That
which
that should be a series.
that's like digging back into the old,
Like Death World trilogy.
into the
Yeah.
old film noir radio shows where there were gangsters and
Oh,
all
yeah.
stuff going on.
Oh yeah, that would be very interesting.
There's be really neat opportunities for formal military report. I escaped, I got back, yada yada yada. Then go into the personal logs that he's taking literally as he's running through terrain, maybe wounded, trying to, you know what I mean? Like, it would be really. You can do some of those high tension captures.
Oh yeah, you
Yeah,
could.
but you can, whatever you lead in, it was a dark and stormy night. She had legs going all the way,
Yeah.
and then you get into the action. I mean, it's the lead off, which is just a segue right into the story. And it really works, and that'd be a phenomenal radio show.
Yeah.
It would, but I'd want.
But what setting would you want?
Oh well, see, that's the. So I would want something to. I like the idea of the personal logs, and here's why.
Okay.
Because what I would want to do, or we do evenings where we do 3 or 4 of them, and we have a director, and this is what I really really like from. Have you guys ever played?
You know what would be really neat? I'm
Go
sorry,
ahead.
it's just, I'm
No,
just
go
throwing
ahead.
this out
Go
there.
ahead.
Set it in Star Trek. Set it. Post-discovery of warp drive, pre-unification, that very tumultuous period.
Yeah, that war period where everything was still coming together. Because here's what I want to do. Because here's the idea. I want it to be technological enough that there would be personal logs. Because
Correct.
the personal logs would be like, okay, well, personal log, we sat down and we had the following. And Cindy and I have the conversation that we role play through. And the conversation is, well, I'm amicable and I'm just trying to talk her into my way of thinking. And she eventually comes around. Cut that. Now we go to Cindy's personal log. And it's personal log, blah, 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 blah.
Oh my God,
so
is
we
that George
had,
Lucas?
So we had this. Yes. So we had this conversation, and it's a local
it's
thing.
a fan.
He looks
it's a
dead
fan.
up like George Lucas.
Yeah,
Yes, he
right.
does.
Exactly
Yeah,
like
he
him.
does.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So we go to Cindy's
He goes
personal
to
log,
all of the
and her
cons.
personal log is he was completely adversarial. He was completely over the top. He was on me, and eventually I just caved in because it wasn't worth fighting about it anymore. Same dialogue, same role play from the 2 points of view. It's like, wait a minute, what? And we see that.
I think we can do that.
You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about, though?
we
So
can
we
do that.
see that now the story is not, oh, well, A, then B, then C, there was a fight, and then D.
Oh,
Yay.
hell, and the other thing I really liked, okay, I don't like Marty's angle on it because I think he's overcomplicating it. Something that's already story difficult, he's making it story impossible.
Right.
But I liked the zombie apocalypse story that was somebody's recorded log.
Yeah, the logs
Like literally
there.
where they're recording as they're moving around and stuff.
Yeah.
Because they're alone and they're trying to stop themselves from going insane
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
That's gold.
yeah.
'Cause
And
you can do
Yeah.
sound effects and
That's good.
everything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So
Anything
I like...
suspenseful, this works with.
Oh, yeah.
All the radio dramas always hinged on suspense or mystery, like a murder mystery.
Right. Like you have
Right.
to, the whodunit, and you
Yeah.
have to figure it out from the pieces.
Love stories like that love subplots work, but love stories like that don't tend to work.
I don't
and-
know. I mean, I saw something recently. It was an update of an old Twilight Zone episode. I've been watching YouTube a lot, and there's, original videos, and somebody basically took an old Twilight Zone episode called 2, where a guy is walking, a soldier's wandering through, a post-apocalyptic wasteland, and he meets up with an enemy soldier who's a woman. It was beautifully brought up to date with wonderful, cutting-edge special effects, but it was still the exact same story. I mean, if you've got good writing
Yeah.
behind you,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if it's Doctor Who shot in a gravel quarry. If you've got good writing, you've got it.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's, I think, I would not mind researching or perhaps delving into the potential of putting something like
Find me a genre.
do sound effects, I like the idea of
That's brilliant.
the sound, the Star Wars or the Star Trek in that unification period. I like the
do
idea
that.
And
of
that's a great era because not every. One of the things that makes Star Trek what it is, and which went away with Deep Space Nine, was the Roddenberry idea of everybody has to get along. I mean, and it fits fine in most circumstances because you've got a society that can replicate anything it needs. There's no scarcity.
Right.
But you take it into Deep Space Nine, not everybody's got that.
Yeah.
Not everybody agrees.
right now we have all sorts of stuff.
Podcast.
Yeah. Yay, we're podcasting.
This is a hell of a card.
Well, thank you.
It's super thick. It is super thick. That's one thing. First thing I've noticed.
It'll stick around for a while.
Kidding.
Yeah.
It
I
will
wanted to
survive
go over
zombie
the
apocalypse.
top. Yeah, it will survive the zombie apocalypse. I wanted to go over the top with the business cards. I didn't want it to be one of those, you put it in your bag or your purse and it just gets all mashed up and then it comes out in the wash. That will go through the wash and live.
I can't stick this thing in the wash anyway. I just keep
Fair enough.
Go through the wash.
Okay, well, there you go. Mine does. It's unfortunate. I always get my purse washed. His wife washes his purse all the time. It's terrible. I don't know who I was pointing at. It's radio. You can't tell who I singled out there.
Oh, I could.
Oh, I guess you could, couldn't you? We love Claire. She's wonderful.
Yeah, she is.
Yay.
Yep.
So I think that's so the scarcity.
Right.
I think there you have to have that as
Yeah.
well.
How do we? I
think-
mean, as an economist, it's fascinating. How do we move from scarcity to non-scarcity? And that's the social turmoil of that transition alone is
Well,
a
but-
fascinating time period to explore. That
so
There
can I-
was a wonderful book which I would plagiarize ruthlessly for this called The Final Reflection.
by who?
Ford was his name.
Okay.
And it's told entirely from the perspective of a Klingon captain in the years before the Federation.
Okay.
nice.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because here's the thing that I never understood. Okay, let's say I have enough stuff.
Could never do that.
What this?
Yeah, I can.
You can't make the Spock symbol.
Nope.
Can you do the other one?
Some
Where you
people
put the
can't.
2 in the middle? No? You got to be able to switch back and forth. That's the tough part, is to go from here to here and then back. She can't do the Vulcan live long and prosper.
No.
It's a genetic thing.
I
Did you know
can't
there's a
be a
recessive trait?
Vulcan.
Oh.
Sorry.
Can you do this one?
Nope.
No. Yep. And normally they go together. If you can do one, you can typically do the other. And if you can't do the Vulcan thing, you can't roll the tips of your tongue together. It's weird. That one like that? No. Can you do that? There you go. Then you can do this one too, right? Yeah. What happened to your thumb? How do you even? How do you make that? I have to hold it. That's not. Okay. So how do you go? Bruh. Okay. Now we're into bizarre body parts.
Call
things
Tony Stark.
doing-
He's a mutant.
Right? You are a mutant, dude. That's bad. So how do you? So I don't understand what's so frightening. Okay. Let's say I have like a bazillion million $. Okay. I've got. So what's so scary about everyone in the society getting $100,000? Now let's say we gave. Let's say let's say that was the minimum wage. It's $100,000. Let's not talk about the impact it has on the businesses. Let's say the businesses could sustain paying everyone $100,000.
Yeah. Wave a wand and. bam. Yeah,
Sure.
Okay.
But what is so frightening about that?
What do you
From
mean
the standpoint
frightening?
of because you have the people,
Okay, if
the top 1%.
holding all else, holding
It's
all
called
else
class.
equal. Yeah, holding all
Is
else.
it class
equal.
warfare? Is that just
Yeah.
what it is?
Yeah.
So we don't
Well,
want
no,
other
it's-
people to have money too, just
Right.
because?
No, more baseline
Just
level.
because we're better than them.
Let's assume there's only $5 million. Okay.
Okay.
So hold inflation and all that.
Sure,
stuff,
sure.
okay? So there's only $5 million, and I have the majority of the dollars.
All right.
In order for you to make 100,000, whereas you were making 24,000,
Right.
your dollars have to come from my dollars
Right.
more than likely, and I don't want to give them up.
Right. So let's say you've got 2 of those $5 million.
Sure.
Okay. And you would be just fine with 1 of those $5 million.
To you.
No, as
To
a
you.
human being.
To you.
You would not. There is no standard
It's
of
called
living that
personal
would
greed.
dip. So that's just
It's
people
not fear,
being greedy.
it's greed.
Yeah.
Okay, so the greed then turns into fear that they're going to get a part of my
Also,
large
where are you going with
stack.
this?
Is
They're-
that-
they're-
I'm just curious because the scarcity is exactly what you were talking about, and then we went to, well, how do we get into the socialism of it? And then that was just a side spinning question because I've never really understood, like, if I have enough for me and mine, then the extra is just gravy, and can't I share my gravy? Isn't that like a thing that we should all really want to do?
Well, the
But
planet
apparently
already
not.
Well,
the
that's-
planet already
that's what-
currently cannot sustain everyone living at a United States average standard of living, all 7 billion of us.
Okay.
We would need 2.5 Earths to accommodate that.
Oh,
That's a
Just for-
reality
just
that
for food?
nobody wants to face.
just
Right.
for food?
No,
or-
food is not the problem.
What's the problem?
We
have
actually
exceeded our carrying capacity.
correct.
How so? We have plenty of space. We have plenty of water. Apparently, we have plenty of food.
Well, at current production standards, which requires a lot of manufacturing chemical input.
Uh-huh.
Okay. We currently grow in the United States enough food to feed the entire world. We don't have a food production problem. We have a food distribution problem,
Okay.
planet-wise.
Okay.
Right. The underlying issue is in terms of raw resources and materials
Mhm.
for that standard of living, and most importantly, energy.
Ah, so now we're back to the petroleum thing.
If
where-
you sit here and think about the energy that we are collectively, just the 5 of us, right?
Yeah,
4 of us,
wasting.
using right now, from the
yes,
heat to the
using.
lights to
Yeah.
the power equipment to our personal devices, yada yada yada.
Uh-huh.
It's the equivalent of something ridiculous. It's like 200 slaves producing labor constantly, right?
And the planet is not renewing the resources at the rate we're using them.
Well, we're using non-renewables
Yes.
to fuel our energy.
Yeah.
So
Right.
there's no way it could be done currently.
All right.
We couldn't all live at that standard because, again, food and water, survival. But for the standard of living, you're talking materials and energy.
Oh, fair enough. Okay.
You're talking money.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, money's supposed to represent a claim on those resources.
Yeah.
Supposed to, theoretically.
Right. Not just who has the most at the end wins. I
Right.
get that. Okay. Well, because I was just curious because the tension comes from because here's where that filters back in. When we get up into Picard, when he makes his statements of, our species is now about bettering themselves. We're not about wars. We're not about conquest. We're not about conflict. We're making ourselves better people. Says the guy fighting the Romulans, the Borg, the Klingon. I mean, like,
Yeah.
And the Maquis, who I am. Hey, wait.
And
a
the
minute. Those
Maquis.
are our own people.
yeah. Yeah, like, well, aren't these the people that are supposed to be bettering themselves, just like you said?
Yeah, we're all great until you put scarcity into the equation.
Bingo. And that's why, even when you get into industrial replicators that the Federation uses to whip off buildings and resources and factories and ships, there you go. That's fine. Even there, the issue of scarcity is what provides the friction to the gears for the conflict.
Well, part of what's undermining
So
capitalism,
are you thinking before?
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Something got unplugged.
you,
Okay.
There we go.
So
Yeah.
are you thinking before Enterprise?
oh yeah,
Before
Because
Enterprise?
You've got that period before Enterprise and after the Third World War.
Well, because I was thinking like the period after Enterprise, when we got warp travel and we can kind of go other
The first
places.
Romulan War.
Yeah. Somewhere kind of in there, maybe?
The first Romulan War would have been a wonderful thing to show.
Well, you've got a thing for the
Um,
Romulan girls.
Well, I like T'Pol. But
Oh, you like T'Pol?
I like T'Pol.
I knew you
Julian
would.
Blaylock was wonderful.
Yeah.
Looking.
Yeah. it was wonderful. Looking.
Yep.
Oh, go
Oh,
ahead.
yeah, I could look at her all day. Yeah,
So,
fine.
would we
So,
want would we want to create our own universe?
I think that if it's going to play to an audience, it needs to be something that they can latch onto. Star Trek, everybody can latch onto.
But there
And if you
you've got,
feed them, all right, fine.
but there
they've got
you've
a basis
copyright
You ready?
issues.
Are you ready for the slow pitch? What about the Firefly universe?
you still have to license it.
The
Scott.
Whedonverse?
Yeah.
They enforce that.
Are
You
we
still have to
sti-
license it.
So we're gonna have
That's
to
a
make.
shame. There's some wonderful,
Oh, yeah.
wonderful
Oh, yeah.
fan fiction.
Well, he was trying to
graphic
genre
novels.
mash up sci-fi western, which has been done,
Yeah.
but he was trying to resurrect it, and it was working.
It was brilliant.
Yeah, somebody.
Thank you, Fox, for putting the.
Well, the guy
episodes out
who
of
canceled
order.
that is the descendant of the guy who canceled Star Trek after Series 3.
Really?
Wow.
This guy's been put up against the wall and shot, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
the
good.
spiritual descendant. May they burn in,
Yeah. Burn in hell.
Yes.
That's the word.
Wowza.
I like that guy less than I like Peter Jackson. And if you listen to the last episode, you know how much I don't like that guy. I'd rather bunk with Peter Jackson than the dude that canceled Firefly. That guy's an idiot. I don't even know his name. I don't want to know his name. Don't tell me his name, because then I'd go off and start screaming for an hour at this guy. So do we want to build our own is the question.
I've done that before.
It
Yeah.
can be done.
Oh, it can be done. I'm not saying it can't.
There
All
were
of this
several-
can be done.
Let's see.
I've got one going online.
I know you do. That's why I slow pitched it to you. And I was like, so what do we? How do we?
How do you build your own universe?
Can we cherry pick from there?
Yeah.
Well,
Can
what
we-
are the
can we follow that?
copyright things
Yeah.
with something like Firefly?
Well, you would have to approach them and buy a license
For a
to buy it.
podcast?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's public.
They go get you. Yep.
Well, when you put
It's
it out there and you
But
got
it's
like
fan
a
fiction.
profit.
Yeah. You in their universe.
Yeah, as long as nobody's buying your fan fiction, nobody cares. But if it starts to get popular, whether we monetize it or not,
Yeah.
that's when they care.
That's
Yeah.
when they care. They hit around somewhere between 5,000 and 10,000 listeners, and they go, "Excuse me? No, that's ours. You're not allowed to do that."
And I think many of you have probably been following the whole Axonar lawsuit.
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
No.
So go
Tell
ahead,
me,
Scott.
tell me.
All right. There's a wonderful fan movie that has really gone through the courts of late called Star Trek Axonar.
Okay, yeah.
Uh,
I've heard of that one.
It's got a number of real talent actors who are going to be starring.
And writers.
And writers in it. And it's taking a character from the original series, Garth Vizar. If you've seen that episode, he is a Federation captain who has a traumatic event and has a mental breakdown to the point where he breaks the Prime Directive ruthlessly, and his crew has to basically throw him in prison, which is where you find him in the episode. He's in a mental institution.
Okay.
The thing is, Garth Vizar is also noted as a war hero, and this is the story of Garth Vizar as far as how he basically is the leading figure in winning the first Klingon Federation war. And it's looking like it's going to be a phenomenal movie, and then CBS and Paramount said, nope. No.
jumped all over it. Cease and desist, or we will bury you.
Yeah,
Yep.
because it is seriously funded.
And isn't the son of Scotty in it?
No, that's Star Trek Continues, which is very good.
Oh yeah. No, I was thinking the other one, the overlap there. But no, but either way, they made a fantastic piece of fiction that carried on in that universe, and
In
Paramount
just the right niche.
went, nope.
Yeah, because this one looks like a moneymaker.
Yeah.
Well, I hate to say
Big
it, but Star Trek. It's not like we're talking about something that was written 60 years
the
ago.
other shit
and-
that is just now
You know what I mean?
falling. You've heard about Star Trek Discovery.
Well, I'm just saying, Star Trek, the creation, isn't community property. I know we feel like it is.
Right.
Well, but when does that become public domain?
Never, depending on whether
what
or
do you
not
mean
they
by
keep
never?
up their copyrights.
But-
Yeah, well, it used to be 50 years, but then they've changed it recently to where now it
Because
can
Mickey
be
Mouse changed it, didn't
in
he?
perpetuity.
Is it really?
Rights can be retained. Yeah.
Whatever. Because it's like Long John Silver's and Treasure
Happy
Island.
birthday!
Yeah. Treasure Island, right? Treasure Island, right? That's public domain now because there it is. 50 years is all you get. Not anymore, huh? The mouse, the giant rat, decided that was not going to happen.
Team Rodent.
Yeah.
Team Rodent.
Because the Disney, just in the last couple of years, the Disney copyright was coming up on 50 years, and then they took a fleet of lawyers and made it in perpetuity, huh?
Yep.
That's terrible. Gaming with Scott reserves all rights to, yeah. Thank you. Yeah,
That's called
exactly.
corporations.
Well, yeah, that's terrible.
It's called
So,
corporate litigation.
so how do we want to do this? Do we want to do space film noir? Do we want to do? See, because here's we need a. There needs to be warp capability. There needs to be personal logs, and there needs to be.
Wait, stop. Look, don't copyright violate. But what hit me was you said space film noir. What's the story about Han Solo that we always wanted but never got? It was the backstory.
The Kessel Run.
24,000.
Get yourself a Han Solo-like character who is a detective, a merc, who solves mysteries for people, and it's his film noir logs.
How would you pronounce BREA?
What?
How would you pronounce BREA?
Brie.
Brea?
Freya?
Brie.
Because that was Han Solo's first ship. He got into Jabba for 24,000. Like there are 3 books there. That's the Han Solo trilogy. That is that backstory, exact thing that you're talking about.
So if you don't want to pay for licensing, then you create your own universe, which I actually suggest, and then
Right.
basically your
And
concept
I've done
is
before.
Han
Yeah.
Solo doing detective film noir kind of in space.
Yeah. He needs a team though. Because
Maybe.
as we know, if 30 years from now, 50 years from now, they go to make this into a movie and there's not like a hot chick that's in there, they'll put one that'll change the river and blow the whole book out of the water. And we're all supposed to just get behind that and say it's the most wonderful piece of writing ever.
Bitterness
Nope.
is unbecoming. Scott.
I know it is. So I was thinking a dashing female lead. No? Nobody?
No, that works.
No, that
We
works.
could do that.
No, I got
Nothing
all
wrong
kinds
with a
of...
female lead.
All right.
What you need, though, is you need a female lead that is harrowed, right? In a
Harrowed?
way that's charismatic, that pulls you into her pain.
Harried?
That's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
No, not harried.
Why not? What's harrowed?
It's a word. It's a,
I gotta look it up. I don't know what it means.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll look it up then.
Hero?
look it up.
Like
Heroic?
Jessica Jones.
It-
There's
yes.
Jessica,
Thank you.
Jessica Rabbit? What?
Jessica
She's not
Jones.
Jessica
bad.
Jones.
She's just drawn that way.
No, Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones. Okay. Is it too soon to spoil the end of that season?
Yes.
What? Have you not watched it?
I've gotten through a few episodes. I watch when Claire can watch.
Okay. All right. I understand. Because I was going to say that ending was phenomenal, and everybody goes, "Ooh, that ending was terrible." I'm like, no, it was one of the best endings ever. Mm-hmm. Ever. Loved it. Get to the end of it. It's really worth watching. And David Tennant, scary as hell.
Fantastic.
I mean, just unbelievable. Really good stuff. Yeah, I liked it a lot. Because I like Kilgrave. It's horrible and frightening and scary. And it's that exact thing with being left against evil and having no recourse that scares me. That really rubs me the wrong way. That's what it is. So, all right, how are we going to do this?
Well,
what do we need to build a universe, Cindy?
back to the original question.
Yeah.
Is there a happy medium between a universe that is known by the fans out there, but is not copyrighted?
Excuse me. Harrow. Past tense, harrowed. Definition 1. draw a harrow over land. Definition 2, cause distress to.
Oh. Okay. So what is harried?
That's when you're frantic, you're frizzled around the edges, you're rushed.
Oh, okay. All right. So not necessarily disturbed as much as pressed for time. I get you. All right.
HAROW.
Harrowed.
HARROWED.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, W-E-D.
Yes.
All right.
As opposed to HARRIED, which
Yes.
is harried.
Yes, harried.
I felt
Yeah.
the need to defend my grammar.
No, it wasn't a
can't talk
defense.
now.
I hadn't.
No, that's good.
You much good with the herricks.
I know one.
What?
Oh, I've got it.
What?
Okay.
Sorry. Evil laugh. Evil chuckle. There was... Are you familiar with the world of the Dirty Pair?
Like Ranma 1/2 Dirty Pair?
No. The
Okay.
Dirty Pair.
All right, because when you say the Dirty
Anime?
Pair, that's Ranma 1/2.
Manga.
Yeah.
Yes, the
Manga
Dirty Pair.
and anime. The Dirty
Yes.
Pair.
Yes. Ranma 1/2.
Still copyrighted.
Still copyrighted, but go ahead. Loved it, by the way.
What about Bubblegum Crisis?
Oh, dear Lord. What about Spider-Man?
All right. I'm just trying
Yeah,
to...
it's that same kind of
I'm just
yeah, a
trying to
couple
find
copyrights
something
in
that
there.
is known but isn't going to be copyrighted.
But the minute you say known, by definition...
All right, so we basically have to build something from scratch.
Yes. So how do we build our own universe, Cindy?
I've got that.
You've got that.
Yeah,
I want to see you and Cindy arm wrestle over it.
Okay.
No, I
And
spent,
Cindy's like, I could take him.
Yeah, absolutely.
I spent about
Kapow. This is lovely.
I spent about 5 or 6 years basing something off the Jovian Chronicles
Okay.
as far as a film noir space opera.
Interesting. I like it.
It's solar system like The Expanse, but it is essentially, troubleshooter investigators.
Okay.
Troubleshooter as in keep your laser handy. The computer is your friend. Shoot trouble.
Yeah, with a
Paranoia
little
is copyrighted. I'm sorry. We can't let you use that anymore.
bit, with a little bit more responsibility.
No, that's what makes Paranoia so much fun.
No.
Paranoia,
yes.
paranoia, everybody's
I
coming to
won
get
that
me.
game.
Woohoo!
Once. I made it through alive on my first and only clone.
Wow, that I've never heard of such a
Yeah.
thing. I'm not even sure what you just
One
said.
time.
That's crazy talk. So how do we build a universe, Cindy?
It's
Have you been doing this for a while? How
Yeah.
long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this for 20 years.
Nice. So all right, we need space and opera and noir and ships and
You just need
Stuff.
characters and story. You need good writing. You need
we
a
do.
base. You need a basic background,
all right.
where you get what the rules are or
Mm-hmm.
what they have been.
Okay.
So you know what you can and can't break
Okay.
and what you aren't supposed to break but can.
So
You've got ships, you've got, okay, how are they powered? Do we do something like warp or do we do something like
GRTs.
sails?
I want to do GRTs. Glowy red things.
All right.
Okay.
No, I've got it. I've got the setting, but next question.
Okay,
All right,
because
to
hold on
flesh this out-
before we get to the next question. Because what I want to do is literally the tech is like interchangeable spheres or cubes or blocks or whatever.
Yeah.
Where you go, we need to pull power from the warp charge. We'll pull 2 glowy red things and put them in the weapons. Charge that one up, and we can fire. We're not going to go as fast because we literally just moved energy from here to there, like literally picked it up and marched it down like by the size of the powerhouse. And they're little fusion reactors or whatever. We'll get into that. But you plug one in, and there's the sensors are powered.
Okay.
If we want to move, by the way, we're only down to 1 GLR, or glory GRT, one glory
Robotech
red
would
thing.
have been good for this.
Right.
Yeah.
The protoculture cells, but the idea of
Yes.
I pull one, march it on down, and plug it in, and like, okay, let's go.
Plug and play.
Yeah, and it's
Isn't that what Microsoft was famous for?
the technology takes care of
Way
itself,
back when?
and engineers are very, very rare. And because they're not really needed, because it's all like Apple, it's the sheep of ship technology. You just plug it in and go. It interfaces with everything. It's just a thing. Okay. I like that idea. I want to kind of keep it that simple because ships are great, But I don't want everybody to know, oh, well, we just need to vent plasma from the warp conduit and reshuffle it into the intercooler matrix, and then we'll be fine. Like, no,
And that is a
we don't
school
all
of
know
thought
that.
because you try and, like the Air Force, make things more interchangeable.
Yeah.
Using 3D printers is the new logistics. That's all
Right?
good. There's also a school of thought where you have the F4 Phantom, where you have Phantom bites because the thing was so badly engineered. You'd reach your hand up into the engine, you couldn't get it out without clawing your hand off.
Yeah.
So, happy medium,
All right, maybe.
maybe.
But the idea of we'll hit it with a wrench because it's not seated right. Oh, there it is. We got to go. But because I don't want
You
warp,
don't want technobabble.
I don't want a lot of technobabble.
Right, that's fine.
I want to keep that to a minimum.
He wants enough to have the flavor
Well,
of
but-
science
and that's
fiction.
fine.
But there becomes scarcity
Yeah.
because glowy red things, like we don't all have a million of them. Now there are folks that hoard them, of course, because that's what fuels everything. So you want to buy some? What do you got?
You want the majesty of space without the technobabble of space.
Right, without the messy need to, well, we got to keep air pressure.
You don't want to justify it.
Right. I don't want to have to go, well, oxygen, he put bubble gum on the thing
This
so that
doesn't
it
make
wouldn't.
sense.
Yeah.
That's fine to an extent, although there's the Firefly aspect of it where things break.
Well, sure,
Yeah.
because your glowy red things can go out. Like, they're done. It needs to be either recharged, which I don't know about, or it's depleted and we need a new one.
Mm-hmm.
And if you really think about it, if you're the corporation that's making the glowy red things, you don't want them to recharge. You want to have to come back and buy another one. Mm-hmm. So there's always a market.
Built in.
Pearson's Puppeteers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I shall
Yeah.
return.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to take my leave.
All right. Can you do me a huge favor and refill a... I had a water cup. Yeah, can you refill that for me real quick before you jet out? Thank you. That idea of, not forced obsolescence, but the concept of, well, you need to keep coming back to us. It's not a renewable thing.
That's forced obsolescence.
Well, sure, call it what you will. We got you on the hook, so we're
Exactly.
gonna keep that happening as long as we possibly can. Thank you, sir. Yay. So, because I don't want to have to get down in the details of, I wouldn't mind doing the Starship Tactical Combat Compendium, but
No, that's not where the story's at.
but that's not where the story is. Exactly.
The story is the Maltese Falcon.
Yep.
The Maltese Falcon in space is,
Brilliant.
It's brilliant.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the story.
Yeah. I could basically
Wrong pipe.
I could basically rip off Raymond Chandler for ages.
Oh, yeah.
Brilliant storyteller
Yeah.
and
Brilliant.
episodic.
Yes. I wouldn't mind, because I want to kind of do mashups of the whole. I like Rex Stout stuff. I love the Nero Wolf mysteries. I like Firefly.
Yeah.
I like some Star Trek. I like when Star Trek did film noir, when they did, all of his holodeck scenes, when
Now, the
Picard goes and
question
pays,
is- For this,
Dixon Hill.
you have an awful lot of people doing Firefly, correct? Are they local?
Yeah. Well, no, they're all over the country.
I'm just wondering how many vocal characters we could pull in as guests for different scenes. Really, we're going to have a core
yeah.
crew who are, doing the plot, doing the play, giving their logs, interacting with each other. But there's also room for an awful lot of people to be brought in, as voice talent to
To-
flesh things out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or
Oh,
to
absolutely.
interact as NPCs.
Oh,
yeah,
sure.
exactly.
Yeah.
And do you think that would appeal? We throw that out there to a select group or semi-select group.
Well, and what we would want to do is we start with a 1 episode or a 3 episode or a 5 episode starter. And we do a one-off, okay? And what we do with that is we have people record their parts or their, the smaller parts we can write out and we give them direction of here's what's going on and here's the thing. And I want you to record this on your phone and send it to me. And the lesser, and I'm using my finger quotes here, the lesser audio quality, are things that were recorded during, the ship was under fire, or there was the auto quality, the computer had been hit, and blah, blah. There are a million ways that you can
But the
deal
ques- the
with the
question
different,
is-
and you have them do small pieces.
Do you want a plot handed to you to read out?
There
or
will
act out, or
That's more scripted
yeah,
writing.
well,
right.
Do you want
as opposed,
a general?
post-textual role
This
playing.
is your character, which you come up with, and then here's the situation. Here's some options for you, and then you go at it. So it's more of a lead-in than just off-the-cuff role play.
I would want to do a 3-tiered mix. We would have to for some of the smaller parts, and even for some of the larger parts of the people who record the personal logs. I would want them to be scripted. Okay, the tiny things, the smaller readings, those would be purely, we send you a script, you read through the script, familiarize yourself with it, rehearse it several times, and then read it out, record it, and send it back. We're going to use it in a chunk. Then I'd want to do lead-ins where we role play it out, and that becomes set in stone canon. This is story that happened. And then we would each take our characters' reactions and either record our own personal logs about, well, here's what I did with Cindy, and this was the thing, and she was just totally belligerent, and it was the thing, and this was the thing. And she writes her things and goes, well, here was my interaction with Scott, and I was trying
was
to be as
being
nice
such
as
a
I could,
doofus.
but he was being so obstinate that I just had to assert my ground, and I wasn't going to whatever.
Kick him in the nuts.
And do exactly whatever it is we needed to do. And then in the third, we would have synopses, or we would have parts where it is written from different points of view, similar story, similar dialogue, and you'd hear it once, twice, maybe 3 times from the differing point of views of the people that were there to tell that same story to get us to where we were. So it would be this odd amalgamation of put together that would have its own sort of feel to it. Does that make sense?
Somewhat. I mean, you'd lead off with one character doing it, then presumably you'd go to the live action in between the two characters.
Mm-hmm.
Then, the third, then character number 2 would give their feedback as far as what they experienced.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that. And it feeds on and on, switching out characters and going back and forth.
Yes.
An interplay.
Yes. And I think that interplay, it would lessen the role-playing aspect of it, but it would enhance the telling of the story, which would be the goal.
See, one of my favorite scenes in all movies is the Maltese Falcon, and you've got the Fat Man and Humphrey Bogart, and Bogart's been knocked out and tied up in a chair, and the Fat Man wants to know where the Falcon is, and Bogart's saying, well, it's this interplay between them. I like talking to a man who likes to talk, but you could kill me, but if you kill me, you're not going to get it. And it's like, well, that's when it comes to a delicate sense of judgment. I can, there's, and it goes back and forth as far as, the Fat Man's got Bogart in his power. He could knock him off, but he wants this thing pathologically. And it's this brilliant thing where, okay, fine. You'd lead in with the Fat Man, he's having his monologue where Bogart's tied up in the chair. Then you've got the scene between them, and then Bogart escapes, and he's got his monologue of, well, this is what I think about this, and this is where I'm going off to do this, because I'm, tracking down this lead to find this thing. Then it goes into him interacting with Kat, and Kat's, Mary Astor, who's been hiding this thing in an apartment, but it was stolen when she was out, and so she's got her monologue about what she's going to do, and then it leads off in another direction.
Okay. All right, I could see that. I'd want to see it written out.
Yeah, it's a case of giving it some script, but letting the players improv what they do and how they feel about it from their own perspective.
So would you want it to be, all right, we're here, and we're going to get to there? Or would it be, we're here, let's see where this goes?
A bit of both.
Okay.
because not everything has to end in a happy ending. Not everything's going to be a success.
we learned that this last weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mister, it doesn't need to be a happy ending. Eek.
Brilliant.
It was it was palpable.
Yes.
And that's and I mean that in the best way, but I was not ready for it. I was like, we'll get another crack at this and everything. Oh, yeah. Oh my.
Sometimes
glad
you
you
only
like
get
that.
one.
Yeah, I didn't say I liked it. Nowhere
I
did I go,
did.
hey, this was great.
did.
It was shocking. Which I guess is again
That
palpable.
works.
That's a good substitute for no. Then it got the response I think you were looking for.
Yes.
So I'm
Although still.
I am interested to follow. I'm not going to take as much credit for that.
see what
as,
he's looking
as-
at.
Yeah. Oh, really?
No.
So hi.
Hello.
The so from that whole idea, you're right, sir. What? Huh? No. It is far more. I want to see the direction. To
It can be done. For instance, I've been briefing JC on what his character is going to be, and he's got it. He's got it in his head, and he's going to basically do it off the cuff from there. But
Sure.
he knows the setting, he knows his character, and he knows roughly what's going to happen as far as the plot. But after that, it's all on him.
right, but from the scripted aspect, if the more scripted it is, the easier it will make post-production. The less scripted it is, and the more we go off collar, because remember, we're talking about gaffing, we're talking about sound effects, we're talking about.
Well,
It makes it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but if we're doing 2 episodes a month, say 2 hours, because this is going to be production heavy, that gives more time to script it.
Right. No, I agree.
And-
I don't know that we could maintain a one a week release schedule. Is the
No, and that's fine if it's quality.
Sure,
Because,
sure. So this has been a poser. I kind of like the idea of
it can be done. I can do it.
I think it can be done, and we would have to. There would have to be a big story. We'd have to write canon, like you said. You need to keep a list of what has been done and what rules have to be followed, what rules can't.
See, from that, there's a brilliant write-up by J. Michael Straczynski on what makes Star Trek good.
Yes,
Did you ever
I
read?
thought he was Babylon 5.
He was.
he was. I've started that thing like 3 times, and I don't know why I can't get over a certain hump and get it finished. I don't know why.
It's brilliant. It's
Yeah.
He proposed rebooting Star Trek before Abrams got his hands on it. And he wrote this 10-page paper about, okay, here's, why is, James Kirk, being thrown into situation after situation, week after week, while your other captain out there is going, well, I charted a star system this week, and, he's like, well, I faced a galaxy-eating amoeba,
Yeah.
all right, fine.
Yeah.
So why is that happening? And in the meantime, let's just deconstruct this as far as, okay, Star Trek is good because it is a character piece. And you've got these 3 iconic characters, which in this case, say we have a cast of 4 with supporting characters that are very strong.
Right.
So that's why I'm wondering, we have our core group, and then we have supporting characters who come in and come out like,
As needed.
yeah, as needed.
I like it. I like the idea. And then we have bit players that we can have record things that we can have come in or out as necessary. And the casts of various locales can be, well, we visited this planet and we had these 2 or 3 people come in and do an evening with us. Now
Yeah.
we're flying off to
Yeah.
this other locale where there
Okay,
are,
question.
et cetera. Yes.
Are you going to have the primary characters' home be on ship or on a base?
On a ship.
Why?
Ship.
Why?
Yeah. Why not have it be on a base or a planet where they have a ship that they can use?
Because I can do more horrible things to people on a ship.
You can still do that.
Well,
But if they have a home base,
But
there's
You're f-
more.
I loved Deep Space Nine, but Deep Space Nine eventually had to have You got so far with the runabouts, and then eventually they had to have the Defiant in order to broaden things out a bit, just as far as locations. It didn't rely on it, but it got there.
But if you've got a trader, say like in Firefly, that ship could land on planet. It did frequently.
Uh-huh.
But say they had a place that they could call home, like say on Shadow.
So
But they could still go out and do their trading and their, merc stuff. And
because that belies a sense of structure beyond. Now it's not just the team and their ship. What company do they work for? Where do they pay rent to berth their ship?
they're not company people.
Right.
Well,
but
that depends. On
right.
the
So
story.
let's say they're not company people.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they
If
got to
they're
rent a docking
individual-
slip, right?
Well, not necessarily.
They live on a planet with no other people.
No. Put it this way. Say, okay, they're private investigators.
Okay.
Usually that means
Freelance.
you have, exactly. You're freelance. You have your own equipment. You have your own office.
Okay.
The planetary
that's-
home could be like
Have you
their
seen Dark
office.
Matter?
No.
I liked the yeah. Okay, 6. Let's do this.
Yeah.
It's Cat.
I love what you're wearing. That's gorgeous.
That is pretty.
Is that the up top kilt? No, I'm just before the dressy part was below the waist. Now the flowy part's above the waist. I don't know
I like
what.
the
I
flowers
can't tell
in
if
the
you're.
ear,
I
too.
can't tell if you're wearing pants or not yet. So, aha. Okay, never mind. I'm better. Just
I
we
got
had to.
tribbles.
Yeah. I think then now you have to fill in a planet with all of its details. Instead of here's your ship, here's your folks. We don't need to go any further. Again, it's the glowy red things of
Sit down and put on.
we've got our habitat.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not against a home base, but it puts a lot more into it that now we need to. That all has to be backfilled. You can't just say, "Well, we stopped at our home base." Where is that? How do you pay the lights?
Well,
Who-
put it this way:
who does the
it's going to
cleaning?
be in system,
Uh-huh.
you've got Earth, Mars, Luna, maybe, whatever you have in the asteroid belts, Jupiter.
Kat, we're touting a new idea.
Yes.
1 or 2 female leads in a radio play. A radio play format.
I'm
Because I
listening.
hated that. Yes.
Yes. Scott?
Scott, you're taking point on this.
All right.
Continue.
Have you heard any of the old film noir radio shows?
I've not listened to them, but I'm familiar with the idea.
Okay, it's that kind of thing where it would be flipping rapidly between personal views and what goes on. So, for instance, we lead off with you giving a personal log, about your discussion with Scott. Then you have, what you're going to go talk to Scott, and Scott's got this doohickey that you want, and you're going to try and barter with him for it, but you think he's a crooked bum, and so you might have to twist his arm a little bit because you've got some blackmail on him. So fine, I'd be leading you with, here's the situation, a one-page, here's the situation, your character,
Mm-hmm.
you give your perspective on it. Then there's the scene where you two, you meet up with him, you talk, it's live action, whatever happens. Then third scene goes to Scott. He gives, he's, escaped from you, and he either does or doesn't have this thing. And I'd have to write something open-ended at that point, but that's doable. So either, A happens and she gets it, and it's your perspective on what you're going to do about it, or no, she doesn't, but somebody who can fence it. So you're going to give your monologue.
Well, and we can write the point being, okay, she's going to come to you, and you're going to haggle, and you'll almost back out of it, but eventually you're going to give it to her, or whatever. Or you can kind of like, here's point A, here's point L. How you get there is up to you guys.
Right. And then meanwhile, we flip over to Cindy's character, who, she's been in on this because, she's your partner and, she's got her monologue, and then she does her action with whoever. And so it's, monologue, scene. And it's semi-scripted, as a radio show.
Not so
with
much
special
role play.
effects.
Right.
Yeah. Well, plenty of role play, but it's more of an, you're in on the plot kind of thing.
Oh, see, and I looked at it that we could do it this way. That we can have the scene like, the military report or whatever. Well, they went in, there was a barter situation, all hell broke loose, we fought our way out and returned to base. That's the after action report that's written. How it would start is we all role play the scene. Like, we don't know how it's in. We get into it, we role play up to our ears, we do this. Then we take that recording and then you write your POV of, well, I came in and I was the level-headed captain that just tried to keep these two people from tearing each other apart. And she writes, well, he was a jerk and I had to kick him in the nuts, and that's how this happened. And I went, well, I was feeling really defensive until she kicked me in the nuts, and this person over here was strong-arming me to get her way. Finally, I just said, screw it, and sold the thing to him anyhow. And I'm never dealing with them again. And you get the 3 personal logs all about the role play, and you don't get the role play scene until the end.
Something like that, too.
Or something, or there's
It can be
you
mixed
can
and matched.
formulate. Yeah, you can formulate it up with personal logs interspersed, or the shot of the scene is at the end, or it's at the beginning, and that's the impetus to lead the personal logs off in different directions, and we each give our things, and I want there to be a personal. I like the personal log component. The idea of, well, let me tell you what really happened here. I like the multiple viewpoints of what happened was. And then, because what happened was is going to be completely different. I mean, if you take the Stargate thing of, well, we told them we would save the kids because that's the right thing to do. The POVs are going to be wildly different between the military side and the translator side and the doctor side. It's just, that's how it's going to be. And I want to try to capture that while also engaging in more sound effect, more radio production type kind of thing. Did I capture that right?
Yes.
Okay. I think it's doable. But we're going to need to make our own universe because Scott keeps pulling universes out that are already copyrighted. And we're trying to get the concept of, I think they're all copyrighted already.
I've got one.
But I don't know. It'll be good.
It'll be good.
All right. So then
I know who I'm going to steal from already.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough. That's perfectly good.
As long as it's premeditated.
It's
Yeah.
all right. As long
as it's hidden.
Right.
Well,
That
you
too.
know what Carl said. You steal it ruthlessly. You file off the serial number and make it your own.
Yeah, Raymond Chandler is perfect for this.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's the thing is, it's okay. Orion Slave Grill, 3:00.
That was a
What, I
fantastic drink, by the way.
Was it? Yeah. Yeah.
Degree
Exactly.
made it up.
Yeah. It's wonderful. It's a great drink. It's a long, cool glass of water.
Followed by the alien secretion shot.
I don't want to know about any of this.
Barfleet.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, Barfleet. Yes. I'll be going there
Yeah, the
later
one you
this
didn't
evening.
go to last night.
Yeah. No, I threw up, and then I felt better, and then my computer couldn't work, and I spent several hours working on it to finally get it to work again, and then I needed to lay down for a minute, and then it was 8 a.m.
Oh, that happens.
So that happens. So I'm going to go tonight, and it'll be crowded, but that's okay. I'm not against that.
Fair enough.
But we're going to do this, right?
Yeah.
We're going to put pen to paper. We're going to get some of Cindy's folks to do some recording for us, too. Yeah, eventually. Some one-offs. We'll write them some things and send it to them. Why not?
I know Sandra will definitely want to do that.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's all. And so we wanted to do so we have the fight in the middle of the bazaar where you're bartering the thing. Well, so we want to do some scripted things where we send it to other people to do NPCs like, well, I was walking
On my
along
game.
and all of a sudden they had
On
this
my
fight.
game.
Cool.
I'm
we do it
sure
that
Jay would be game for it. if you
Right.
wanted him to.
And all kinds of people who it's like, hey, we're going to script some stuff out there and you can ad-lib a little bit here and there, but record it even on your phone and send it to us and we'll put it in as parts of this. And we're going to do, and that's, and I,
We
because
can
that could
do this.
expand it. Yeah, I think we could.
Yeah.
I'll need to learn how to record on my phone.
Absolutely. I can teach you how to do that.
Okay.
It's very simple. Yeah. Because I want to
Know
do,
how to do that too.
I think this next year will be creating our own content in a smaller form. I want to do things where I want to come up with a list of ideas where, okay, you've got 10, 15 minutes. and you're thinking, oh, crap, well, I want to just, I got nothing to do, or I want to record something real quick, and I've got a list of things that are between 5 and 8 minutes that you can record on your phone and send them in, and I'll package them up as one-offs and two-offs and pairs and things like that, and start putting out content. Things like the freebies is what I want to, like, we've all had character concepts that we've thought were really cool, but we've never had a chance to play. Give me 5 minutes on it. We'll package it up. We'll throw it out. Let our listeners use it. Like, oh, that's a great character concept. I would love to play something like that.
But it's mine.
Exactly.
I'm gonna play
But you're
it.
never going to get to play it.
So
Bet me.
So she's all so.
eventually I will. I know there's not that many people running Forsaken games, but still.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I'm good on this because, hell, I'm already 8 months ahead on Stargate.
Jeez. We're doomed. We are doomed.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how
I
that
believe
works.
the technical term is boned.
Boned. Yes, that is a technical term. That's what they meant by bone in or deboned chicken. They meant boned in. That's what we're being.
So
boned.
this will give me something to write.
Okay. Yay. That would be wonderful. All righty. Thank you very much for listening to us. We had one swap out, one swap in. It was all good. We're going to keep recording and keep doing and keep putting together and keep putting it out. So once again, as always, thank you for listening. And as always, you'll hear from us real soon. Bye-bye. Meow. Say bye. Somebody else say bye.
Her name's Kat.
I'll wait.
What do you expect?
I'll wait.
I like the meow.
Say bye.
No, the meow was good.
All right. All right. As always, you'll meow from us real soon.
Hi there, I'm Melissa Kocius, chair of Starbase Indy, and you're listening to Gaming with Scott.